Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit, and in the green. Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. We are heading for the Water Temple. Well, we're in the Water Temple. The most infamous dungeon in this game, and probably one of the less well regarded in the entire series. Let's take a little... I would have liked to take a little bit of time to listen to the music, but we're being interrupted by enemies. And there we go. Let's just chill out and listen to the music for a little. There's something I actually do really like about the Water Temple, and that's the way it's constructed. It feels like some sort of... It feels like ancient baths in a way. The architecture gives me the feeling of Greek or Roman baths, but the place is just so well set up. Now we have to pull that out, I'm pretty sure. But then I don't think we can do too much more. If we go this way, we would probably need... Ah yes, we need to get through the ice switch nearby. We might be able to move that block for later, I'm not sure. Technically speaking, there's nothing stopping us. Oh good, we can pull it. So this just saves us a little bit of time, but ultimately there's not a lot we can do. But there's a shortcut we can take. But ultimately, as I said, it feels like a sensible place for a temple, at least at the central structure. But then when you get to all the little winding offshoots and everything like that, all the strange places you have to go, it feels like it's deliberately designed to confuse intruders. It feels so well set up in that regard that it's mysterious, it's murky, it's unusual. It's just somewhere different. These are spikes. Aim for it when it retracts its spikes. You can put your shield up underwater, but a quick blast from the hookshot will take out enemies like that. Yeah, it just feels so unusual. In the sense that it's just not really what you'd expect from a temple. Maybe it's got a whole lot of security measures. It's easy for the Zoras to navigate. Somebody like me, on the other hand, an idiot with a sword, we're not going to have a particularly easy time under most circumstances. We just have to wander around and see what we can do. As you can see, progress in the Water Temple is slow. Very, very slow. You have to keep pausing and switching to the iron boots and pausing and taking them off and pausing and switching to the iron boots, and it's just not very well designed in the slightest. It's unfortunate because, as I said, I do think there's something really neat about the way this place is set up. But it just doesn't quite click in a lot of other ways. The only way we can really do anything appears to be through this path with the torches. So, clank our way through. Now, hang on. Ah, yes, Ruto actually is there. which surprises us. And she's all grown up. Oh, you. If I'm right, Lunk? You're Lunk, aren't you? It's me, your fiancé, Ruto, Princess of the Zoras. A fact Link weaponizes against Dark Link in Awkward Zombie. Dude, your mouth is open, you should be drowning. It's like, halfway through the conversation, it's like, I never forgot the vows we made to each other 7 years ago. Or maybe whatever. If we can add in Banjo-Kazooie drowning. Yeah, Link, you should... How does his... I mean, his tunic is giving off a lot of bubbles. You're a terrible man to have kept me waiting for these 7 long years. There's kind of a long story. It's a really long story. But now is not the time to talk about love. That is, disappointing. Yes, go on, what are we talking about? I'm sure you've already seen it. Zora's Domain, totally frozen. Yep. Yeah, so is your dad. I freed him from the ice. A young man named Sheik saved me from under the ice. But my father and the other Zoras have not yet... Look, I helped your dad. He gave me these cool threads. I want to save them all. I want to save Zora's Domain. You have to help me. This is a request from me, the woman who is going to be your wife. You know what? If I had a nickel for every time Link wound up getting engaged to a fish, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't much, but I mean, it's weird that it happened twice, right? And yeah. She's not letting that go, but it's actually referenced in the manga, and when Ruto mentions that she's not going to be able to marry him because she has to be a sage, Link's response is basically, oh, how disappointing. A friend of mine really, really likes Ruto, though. Kick-started a whole interesting chain of very strange, very eldritch, and still very beautiful women. Interesting discussions. Really, really, really cool friend, honestly. So if they're watching it, I'm sure we know who they're talking about, so... Hello to you. Lunk, you have to help me destroy the evil monster in the temple, okay? Inside the water temple, there are 3 places where you can change the water level. I'll lead the way. Follow me, quickly. The funny thing is, when you actually go up there, Ruto is somehow nowhere to be seen, and something that I find interesting is that as soon as you get out of the cutscene, Link makes the action for landing on the bottom of the water. So, the water temple really doesn't give us a lot to do at first. But yeah, there's literally nowhere for Ruto to have gone. You can destroy these with bombs, but it's a lot easier to just use the shield and hook shot. What do we get from this? Is this the map? Yeah, this is probably the map. I mean, it makes sense to go in there. So, there we are. We jump in. We photocopy our face and we get the map. That's what I thought it looked like as a kid, photocopying your face. We all know that. Out we go, and if we head over here... Play Zelda's Lullaby to lower the water level to its lowest point. We'll try and be methodical about going through this room. But we also need the long shot to proceed on a few challenges. Now, this one... We can do this first time. Because you'll get the fire arrows basically after we've beaten this dungeon. There we are. So yes, you can use the fire arrows for lighting distant torches, but it's not always helpful. Shellblade. Its internal muscle is its weak point. Can you take these out with arrows? Yes. So yeah, they'll jump towards you, basically acting like... they'll propel themselves forward and just attack you if they get the chance. But you can very quickly dispatch them with the hook shot or with an arrow. It's generally easier to use the piercing tip of the hook shot. But yeah, it really is neat just seeing all these different little pathways. Let's take a look at the map. So you've got that network there on the first floor. We drop down to the basement floor. It's still pretty expansive. You've got this central area that is very clearly an important sector. But there are so many little weaving, waving paths that make you wonder, what's hidden away? Where do we go to find these things? Now, I think we have to go this way. I don't think we can get through the other room unless we have the hook shot. We do need bombs. We're going to be changing subscreens a lot. Bit of a nuisance. But yeah, it really is just sort of somewhere not quite sensible in some ways. It's like things do ultimately have a meaning, but it's just designed to be tricky. It's designed to have twists and turns and different little paths just to throw everybody off. Getting lost in a maze of water. It's architecturally very beautiful and the enemies really aren't that challenging. But like, it almost feels more like a puzzle dungeon than anything else. It's like the atmosphere of the dungeon makes it feel like it would be very well suited to Oracle of Ages because it's making you think more than you're having to worry about actually fighting. It's like you beat the dungeons and you go through this dungeon and almost the enemies are an afterthought. They're just there to sort of protect the dungeon's underwater sections, confound intruders. Well, I got it with my foot. So I think this is just purely a gold sculptor. But yeah, it seems really... it's just interestingly constructed. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with it, but it just feels like... it's deceptively simple. It's, like I said, very clearly a temple, but it just starts weaving and wandering, and it really makes you question where you're going, what's happening. And like I said, I do think that design is kind of deliberate on account of the fact it helps protect the temple. Because you've got to be really savvy to get through this. Most raiders aren't going to have the first idea of where they're supposed to go. Now, can we go through to the other side? I just want to check. We can get through to the center room. It's interesting that these enemies will just break up. But then when when you're defeating them when they're underwater, they have spurts of blood pop out. That's an interesting one as well, because... Yeah, interesting point. Ganondorf, in the very original version, when you beat him, he winds up coughing up blood as well. Problem is, they thought that was a bit much, so they changed it. Yeah, we need the long shot for that. Of course, they decided it would be a really good idea to go with the classic green blood, so as someone put it, Ganondorf looks like he A, got beaten so bad he vomited, or B, hocked up a tremendous loogie. Alrighty, up we go. So we've only got one door we can go through. Or at least push this block, and then we have to raise the water level. I think it's going to be a lot better for us if we are methodical about this. But our quest is to get the long shot first and foremost. And that actually has a challenge that I'm not looking forward to. I'm very well equipped for it, but the problem is it's going to take a long time. You probably heard me mention this in other episodes, but the issue with taking on the challenge with Dark Link is that his health mirrors yours. So you are going to have a time if you're a completionist like me and you're trying to get as much done as you can before you go anywhere. If you're doing a 3-heart run, you'll beat the crap out of him pretty easily. Alright, let's go through here and see what we can find. Alright, moving water. No enemies to deal with, but the current will cause us trouble if we're just trying to swim. Now, we can't just straight up run up that. So, a quick changeover ought to ensure that we can hook shot over here. There's always little ways to bend the rules. Oh, there's a thing in the statue's mouth, isn't there? Can I get it from here? Somehow that worked! I have questions. And now I'm in jail. But we'll be able to get out pretty easily. Surface. And we should be able to get... I think... Is this just a key? I think it's just a key. Alrighty, so that gets us a little bit closer to where we want to go. Camera not cooperating. Down we go. So yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing with the water temple. You really have to be methodical because otherwise it's very difficult to get through. If you're steady and patient, then you should be able to get through okay. Let's take aim. It's probably the most important part. It's testing your patience, but it really is dragged down by the fact that the iron boots are on your personal equipment subscreen. They're not items like they were when they returned in Wind Waker, which was a very, very smart decision on the part of the developers. Oh, wait, hang on. Alright, so I have to sink back down and then do it. I thought the drop was a lot longer than that. Yeah, Link's got some strength in those guns given how heavy the iron birds are. Yeah, that gets annoying really fast. So let's go in here. So again, we want to be methodical. There's something in here that's very easy to miss. There is a Skulltula, but we need the long shot for it. This will raise the water to level 2. The camera also doesn't reveal something important in here. Well, it sort of does, but it very quickly pans away to look up at the rest of the room. So you see how that block rose. I'm landing on the spikes, aren't I? I just missed the spikes. So you have to drop down here to find one of the keys, and the game is not very good at actually showing you that. Can I hit it from here? Probably not. So we open onto a raft of enemies. Yeah, you notice blood pops out whenever you shoot those. Damn it, the shell blade is protecting those. Hang on. I think Navi's hey actually... The appropriate sound... I think the appropriate voice clip actually gets modified when you're underwater. Yeah. Navi's voice clips actually sound slightly different when you're underwater. That's really cool. And there we go. All of those are taken out very easily. And we can get whatever's over here. But yeah, the temple is not... It's actually not super hard if you're patient. It's just slow. Of course, this does imply that you know what you're doing and where you're going, and you can search the temple methodically. So yeah, that's a key a lot of people will miss, but I advise this, even if you are a new player, search methodically. But there really is something about water dungeons that's a pain in the butt. There is something about water dungeons that also involves grappling devices too. Because, let's see, the first true water dungeon in the series is the Swamp Palace. It's a little bit fiddly, it's where the hookshot was introduced. Link's Awakening, you can consider Catfish as more a water dungeon. It's where you get the hookshot. Angler's Tunnel is probably the truest water dungeon, because you'll wind up getting the flippers there. Now there is one more place we need to go, because we can't do anything about... We can't do anything about that because we need the long shot. But we can go back to where we met Ruto. We can do something about this at least. Or do we need the long shot for this? No, we might not. But yeah, so Angler's Tunnel and technically Catfish's Moor. Catfish's Moor was a secondary water dungeon and it had the hook shot. I think this is where we get the compass. Then in this game, the water dungeon has the long shot. In Majora's Mask, it's not directly associated with the hook shot, but it does rely on the hook shot. And then... Oh, right. Wrong side. Still, well, don't think I need the iron boots. Whoops. But yeah, Majora's Mask is very well associated with it. Jabu Jabu's belly gives us the long switch. Now, we might need to unlock the door over there, but we also don't need to. Because we can do this. Then Wind Waker doesn't have a true water dungeon. Well, the Tower of the Gods is close. It always annoys me when this happens, because it feels like there should be a scarecrow point up there, but I think we have to keep going around this way each time, which is annoying. But yeah. So closest to a water dungeon is Tower of the Gods, and that's not truly a water dungeon. Then there is another Tektite that... So yeah, Twilight Princess does associate the water dungeon with a grappling device. Yeah, the Ocean Temple in Spirit Tracks, and indeed Skyward Sword, their water dungeons are associated with a grappling device, the whip in this case. Yeah, this must be what Navi's showing us. And yes, Skyward Sword is also kind of an oddity because we have the claw shots, but they're not a dungeon item. So we've done everything we can in the first room, and yeah, we are probably going to wind up just wrapping things up here because we do need to go deeper into the dungeon. Oh well, thank you very much for joining me. Bit of slowdown there. We need to go through this door next. Till next time, this is Red 2 returning to base. Oh god, that's still moving. I didn't realise that was still moving. I don't think I've ever been more annoyed to be rich in my entire life. We got there's $100 under my house? You must be hardened with fire. You ruined my line.